Good day, everyone. I hope you had a great weekend, and if you live in the States, I hope you had a great 4th of July holiday. I was at the lake with the family watching the fireworks. Lots to talk about today, so let's get started right away. There was no major fundamental news released today, and the stock market was mostly following through from Friday's unexpected unemployment numbers. The market rallied on very light volume on Friday and continued follow-through this morning. The market softened up as the day continued but still held ground. This is earnings season, so expect some swings during the next few weeks. I will be alerting you if our positions are being reported a day or two before, so that we can adjust the positions before the news is released. I don't like to hold positions during earnings and often liquidate or partly liquidate before the announcements. I wanted to show you something interesting that we're all seeing right now. This is the chart of the Russell 2000. It's the benchmark index for small cap stocks. Notice how this index is breaking out to new highs, while the large cap indexes such as the S&P and the Nasdaq are still a fair distance away from new highs. This demonstrates that small caps are leading this market and large caps are struggling to gain ground. In one sense, you can make an argument that small caps are a much broader index of stocks and that the rally has a broad market behind it. On the other hand, the small cap stocks don't have the capitalization of the multi-billion-dollar companies such as Apple, Microsoft, and Google that make up the large cap index, and ultimately, the big companies are going to dictate market direction. One trade that comes to mind in this type of market is to spread the small cap index against the large cap index. Remember, you would have to equalize the positions as I have demonstrated many times before. If you trade futures, then you could trade the raw futures contracts for both indexes. However, many of our members are stock traders. If this is the case, you can use the ETF for the Russell 2000. Ticker symbol is IWM, and it tracks the Russell 2000 tick for tick. For the large cap, I would choose the S&P 500 and I would use the SPDR ETF. The ticker symbol is SPY. If you need help with the position equalization, just send me a quick email and I will give you the ratio for the current volatility so you know how many shares to buy and how many shares to sell. Looking at the S&P index, there's a clear breakout above the resistance level, but a very slight one, and it's not too uncommon for large funds to artificially cause rallies so that the buy levels are triggered only to turn around and begin selling right after small traders are sucked into the rally. This, taken with the fact that volume is still rather low, suggests to me that we're not out of the bearish phase just yet. I do find the Russell small cap breakout to be a strong factor that suggests rising stock prices. But till the US can sustain itself without the Feds, I'm very skeptical about the upside, at least for now. Look at the 1655 level for strong resistance to the upside, and don't be surprised if we see selling pressure coming in the next few days. The gold market is beginning to rally a bit as anticipated. I'm still very bearish with the precious metal market and simply waiting for a strong pullback before initiating a short position again. Today, the futures contract was up over 20 points, and I do believe we will see some more upside before the pullback is over. One currency I'm following at this time is the Australian dollar, and as anticipated, I'm seeing a range-bound trading action, which is typical after strong momentum in one direction. If this range-bound action continues towards the end of the week, I will provide some short-term support and resistance levels for the next few weeks of trading. So stay tuned. The next currency I'm watching is the British pound, and it looks like it's come down a bit more than anticipated during the last few trading sessions. I was anticipating a drop down to the 151 to the 150 level, and we went a bit below this level. The next level to watch is the 148 level. I believe we will stall around the current levels till we hear more news about the European manufacturing and production later in the week. I trade currencies mostly on technicals, and this market looks like it could move substantially lower if it breaks the 148 level. However, I repeat, not anticipating this at the current time. based on all foreseeable news that's out currently. Looking at our existing positions, we're stopped out of Walmart today. We're still holding short POR and PFE and are maintaining our original buy stop levels in place. Today we have over 14 tail gap short signals, and most of them are in the energy sector. I'm only including stocks and ETFs that have the setup and are also in a long-term downtrend because you always want to take your tail gap in the direction of the long-term trend. Here are a few of you to look at. XOP, which is the S&P Gas and Energy ETF. Chevron, one of the largest energy companies in the world, ticker symbol CVX. Devon Energy, ticker symbol DVN. And Emerson Electric Company, ticker symbol EMR. All of these companies have nearly identical setups, and I don't recommend you trade more than one or two of these stocks or split your shares between two stocks. The other interesting ETF that's also producing a tail gap down is the S&P 400 Midcap ETF with the ticker symbol MDY. It's very interesting because the small cap Russell is breaking out to new highs, while the S&P 500 is struggling at the resistance area and the midcap is turning down. So you could see from this how mixed up and disoriented the markets are at the current time. I will be initiating a short position on both Chevron and Devon Energy because they have the steepest downtrend out of the group. I will split my shares between the stocks so that my risk exposure is equal to one stock. Place entry stop at 10 cents below today's low and place a buy stop if fill 15 cents above today's high. I will update you if there's a fill tomorrow during the trading session. Have a great night everyone, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.